Hello, listeners. Hello, watchers. Did you know that the Knowing Self, Knowing Others podcast is 2 years old in September? Join Dr. Nia Thomas in this episode as she reflects on the conversations that she's had with her amazing podcast guests and the insights and inspirations they've shared from 2022 to 2024.
It's really good to have you with me in this episode, which is the celebration episode of the second birthday of the Knowing Self, Knowing Others podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to talk you through the insights and inspirations which I've taken from my podcast guest over the last 2 years. I've been able to do something that I've been aiming to do for quite some time. I've been back through all of the 78 episodes over the last 2 years, and I've synthesized all of the conversations we've had into my reflections report, which is entitled Navigating Self-Aware Leadership, a Global Journey of Insights and Inspiration. Top takeaways from the Knowing Self, Knowing Others podcast 2022 to 2024. In this episode, I'm going to share the findings of that report with you. I'm looking forward to having you on my learning journey as we look backwards to move forwards. The Knowing Self, Knowing Others podcast is turning 2 this September 2024. Over 78 episodes, I and my guests have taken you on a journey through the world of self-aware leadership. This reflections report condenses that wisdom shared by global thinkers, exploring how self-awareness shapes leadership, decision-making, and team dynamics. Dive into why self-awareness is the secret sauce for building kinder, more respectful, and creative working relationships. We'll spotlight the key takeaways from the episodes, offer actionable strategies for developing self-aware leadership skills, and look ahead to the future of leadership in a digital world. So the consensus is clear. Self-awareness isn't just a nice to have. It's a cornerstone of effective leadership, employee well-being, and organizational success. And this report is packed with insights and recommendations to help individuals and organizations cultivate a culture of self-awareness to ensure that leaders have the tools to reflect, recognize impact, and regulate behavior in their daily practice. The Knowing Self, Knowing Others podcast, hosted by me, has emerged as a significant voice in the conversation about leadership and self-awareness. The podcast features a really diverse lineup of leaders from various industries, each of them offering unique perspectives on how self-awareness shapes their leadership style and approach to challenges. So in response to the growing recognition that self-awareness is essential for effective leadership, I launched the podcast after finishing my doctoral research. And my aim was to take my research findings from academia to the office. As the world navigates increasingly complex challenges, leaders' ability to understand themselves and their impact on others is more critical than ever. And this report distills 2 years of insightful conversations with valuable lessons for the leaders of today and leaders of tomorrow. Self-awareness is often touted as a critical leadership skill, but what does it really mean? Well, it's about knowing your emotions, motivations, strengths, and weaknesses, and understanding how these factors influence your behavior and decisions. It's about your impact on others and the choices you can make to change your behavior. The Knowing Self, Knowing Others podcast aims to explore this multi-layered concept and raise awareness of not only what we do, but how we do it. During the pandemic, leaders had to adapt quickly, often without their usual support systems. And this tumultuous period highlighted the importance of self-awareness in managing relationships, fostering inclusion, and prioritizing well-being. This report explores that global perspective shared on the podcast, offering a real tapestry of insights on building kinder, more creative working environments. The podcast features a diverse group of thinkers from across the globe. I've been joined by leaders and experts from the UK, the US, Canada, Australia, Asia, and Europe, hailing from industries like healthcare, retail, education, and specialisms like psychology and coaching. Despite their varied backgrounds, they all agree on this one thing, that self-awareness really is a foundation of effective leadership. And their collective wisdom provides a really rich source for anyone looking to build more respectful and creative workplaces. This report captures their insights, making it easier for you and your colleagues to apply these lessons in your leadership journeys. Why is self-awareness such a game changer in leadership? Well, the podcast reveals 5 key reasons. Number 1, enhances communication and collaboration. Self-aware leaders are better communicators, adapting their style to connect more effectively with diverse teams. Number 2, it increases leader effectiveness. By recognizing biases and limitations, self-aware leaders make more informed and balanced decisions. It promotes employee well-being and engagement. Number 3, leaders who are attuned to their own emotions are more likely to create supportive environments where employees feel valued. Number 4, facilitates conflict resolution. Self-aware leaders are better equipped to handle conflicts, understanding their own triggers and considering other people's perspectives. And number 5, it drives organizational success. The combination of better communication, leader effectiveness, and employee well-being leads to overall organizational success.
Self-awareness matters because it 1. Enhances communication and collaboration. 2. Generates informed decisions. 3. Promotes employee well-being and engagement. 4. Facilitates conflict resolution. 5. Drives organizational success.
Certain themes consistently emerged in conversation across the podcast discussions. Number 1, feedback. Giving and receiving feedback is essential for growth and fostering a culture of a continuous improvement. Number 2, emotional intelligence. Self-awareness and emotional intelligence go hand in hand, helping leaders to navigate complex interpersonal dynamics. Number 3, vulnerability and authenticity. Embracing vulnerability is seen as a strength, helping leaders to build trust and create safe spaces for their teams. 4, decision-making. Self-aware leaders make better decisions by considering multiple perspectives, especially when they're under pressure. And number 5, organizational culture. Self-aware leaders shape organizational culture, promoting values like trust, collaboration, and inclusivity.
Key discussion themes. 1. Feedback. 2. Emotional intelligence. 3. Vulnerability and authenticity. 4. Decision-making. 5. Organizational culture.
So what behavior is underpinned by self-awareness? Well, self-awareness underpins several key leadership behaviors. Number 1, empathy. Understanding and sharing others' feelings starts with self-awareness. Number 2, adaptability. Self-aware leaders are more adaptable, adjusting their behavior in response to new challenges. Number 3, integrity. Self-awareness helps leaders to align their actions with their values, ensuring that consistency of behavior. Number 4, accountability. Self-aware leaders are more likely to hold themselves accountable and acknowledge mistakes and take corrective action. And number 5, visionary thinking. Self-awareness really enables leaders to reflect on their long-term goals and align current actions with future objectives.
Self-awareness is foundational to the following behaviors. 1. Empathy. 2. Adaptability. 3. Integrity. 4. Accountability. 5. Visionary thinking.
Are you looking to improve your business relationships? Have you found yourself dealing with employee conflicts? Are you ready to elevate your perspective to a position of greater awareness? If so, the Self-Awareness Superhighway, Charting Your Leadership Journey, is the book for you. Here's just a fraction of what you'll learn. What self-awareness is and why it's critical for your reputation. How increased self-awareness will boost your business relationships. How you can leverage self-awareness to excel in your leadership. Practical steps to develop your self-awareness skills. How you can capitalize on constructive feedback from others. How you can be at the forefront of people centricity in the hyper-digital age. Even if you focused on only one development tool to move in one direction on your superhighway, you'll have achieved growth worth more than the price of the book. In the Self-Awareness Superhighway, you'll discover the 9 chartable compass points to guide your unique journey of learning, growth, and leadership development. Explore the directions of care, humility, authenticity, and more to map your journey from just leading to self-aware leadership. Be guided by people-centric signposts and directions, and navigate workplace roadblocks and trip hazards. Get insights from guests of the Knowing Self, Knowing Others podcast, and reflect on your own experiences. Recognize your impact on others and explore your opportunities for change based on informed choices and expanded awareness. Grab a coffee, find a comfy chair, and dive in.
So what about developing self-aware leadership skills? Well, developing self-awareness is a journey, it's not a destination. And here are 5 strategies shared by podcast guests. Number 1, regular reflection. Take time to think about your actions, decisions, and experiences and align them with your values. Number 2, seeking and acting on feedback. Actively seek feedback and use it as a tool for growth. Number 3, mindfulness and emotional regulation. Practice mindfulness to stay present and regulate your emotions. Number 4, coaching and mentoring. Engage with coaches or mentors for external perspectives and guidance. Number 5, continuous learning and development. Keep learning, challenging your beliefs and seeking new experiences to enhance your self-awareness.
Ways to develop self-aware leadership skills. 1. Regular reflection. 2. Seeking and acting on feedback. 3. Mindfulness and emotional regulation. 4. Coaching and mentoring. 5. Continuous learning and development.
Here are some recommendations for growth based on the podcast's insights for both individuals to grow self-aware leadership skills and for organizations to create the capacity and space for growth. For individuals, number 1, embrace continuous self-improvement. So commit to ongoing growth by regularly reflecting, seeking feedback, and learning from experiences. Number 2, cultivate a growth mindset. View challenges as opportunities for learning and self-discovery. And 3, prioritize well-being. Practice self-care, set boundaries, and seek support when you need it. And for organizations, promote a culture of feedback. Foster an environment where feedback is encouraged, valued, and acted on. Number 2, invest in leadership development. Provide resources for leadership development with a focus on self-awareness and emotional intelligence. 3, create a culture of vulnerability. Encourage leaders to be open about their challenges and growth areas, creating that safe space for others to do the same.
Recommendations for growth. For individuals, 1. Embrace continuous self-improvement. 2. Cultivate a growth mindset. 3. Prioritize well-being. For organizations, 1. Promote a culture of feedback. 2. Invest in leadership development. 3. Create a culture of vulnerability.
So, how do we conclude and draw all of this knowledge together? Well, the Knowing Self, Knowing Others podcast has really been a treasure trove of insights on self-awareness and leadership. Over the last 2 years, it's clear that self-awareness is really critical for enhancing communication, leadership effectiveness, and organizational success. As the world continues to evolve, self-aware leaders will be essential to navigating these complex dynamics and leading with integrity. This report really serves as a roadmap for cultivating self-awareness, offering actionable strategies to help individuals and organizations to create more inclusive, empathic, and effective workplaces. Thank you for joining me in today's episode, which has been an opportunity to reflect on the last 2 years of the Knowing Self, Knowing Others podcast. I hope the insights and wisdom that has been shared by my guests has really been useful to you as both a roadmap and a framework of how you might think of self-awareness and self-aware leadership within your own practice and within your organizations. Looking forward to having you on my learning journey over the next year of the podcast as we head into year 3.
The Knowing Self, Knowing Others podcast has a new feature. You can now send a text message directly to the show. Check out the show notes in your favorite podcast player, and in the top left of the notes, you'll see a link to Text the Show. Click on it to be taken to your messaging app and send a text directly to Nia, join the community, and be a part of our learning journey. Remember that you can follow this podcast on your favorite podcast player and watch it on YouTube. If you want to know more about self-aware leadership, you can buy Dr. Nia Thomas's book, The Self-Awareness Superhighway, Charting Your Leadership Journey, on Amazon as a Kindle book, hardback, or paperback. You can also order it through high street bookstores like Waterstones, Foyles, Blackwell's, and Barnes & Noble. You can also buy the accompanying Reflections Journal on Amazon. If you want to access the free Self-Awareness Compass quiz to assess your self-aware leadership with the help of constructive feedback from your friends and colleagues, go to www.ksko.co.uk and check out the resources. Looking forward to having you on our learning journey on the next episode of the Knowing Self, Knowing Others podcast. I've been Francesca, your AI presenter, and it's been a pleasure to be with you today.